Whoa. Which Marvel movie should I watch?
Wonder Woman.
Nah.
Marvel? Has anyone seen the new one?
No, I have not.
I heard it was.
Put it on Travis's list.
I already have my picks for this week.
You heard that it was good or not good?
I heard it was. Right, go watch fucking Iron Man 1.
Winter Soldier. Avengers
You
reassemble.
gotta watch Captain America: Civil War.
Have you not seen any of the Marvel movies?
I want to.
Right.
What? Pretty sure he's seen all of them.
Well, I'm
I've
not
watched
sure.
most of them with you.
Riley,
Well,
Riley.
you might have missed
Oh,
one.
you phrased it wrong, or like confusing. 'Cause I thought you said like it. I thought you meant have I seen any of them?
No, I was saying, have you not seen any of them?
Still haven't seen the second one. But I don't know.
It's not that bad of a movie. I
It's not that bad. I'm just- Avengers reassembled.
Avengers Assembly Required.
Yeah, where were the Avengers the other day at Capitol? What happened?
They only respond to crisis.
Can you imagine that if like Thor just showed up and just like fucking
Dude, pretty sure Thor would just laugh off and be like, "You petty mortals."
Can you imagine you're just there protesting, like trying to storm the building so you kick Mjolnir to the face? Or like Captain America shield just upside your head. Oh, you know what? I think it was Hydra that orchestrated that whole thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Kill Hydra.
Yep.
Of course, what's her name? What's her name?
Oh, you're thinking about Dr. Zola.
Yeah, Dr. Zola.
Oh, Zola. But, well, it could be Dr. Zola. Dr. Corona, maybe. Yeah, Karen was telling me, like, some of the people that she knows, like, from Karen's church or whatever, she's like, oh, I'm thinking about deleting Facebook now. They banned our president's, like, messages. I'm just like, okay.
Okay. And this is a Canadian lady?
No, she's American. But she married a Canadian dude. It's like, where are you gonna go? Parlor just got removed. Oh, I guess you can still use the website.
I haven't really read the response yet to him being banned on Twitter.
Like, honestly,
It's just a bunch of whining.
people are moving for a while, so like, I don't really care. I mean, in 12 days he will be gone, so whatever.
You should be so lucky.
Well, just like this goes to show what happens when you elect someone that's not. And again, Reagan wasn't a politician, but like, he screwed up like a lot of stuff too. So.
My dad kept going on about how, like, oh, this is what happens when you elect someone who has no experience in the military. Yeah.
That's gonna become more common though. Like I get it, like a lot of our former leaders had served, but back then, like, I mean, a lot of them were from World War II, so. Dude, the one Secret Service dude though, capping the one check.
I haven't really looked into that, so what's the whole deal with that? Is that like...
So basically, there was like this area that these protesters were outside of, and like it's barricaded shut. Like you can see benches, chairs, everything blocking the door, and they were smashing through the glass. And this chick, even though you can see the guy with the gun, he's like, "Hey, don't come in! Don't come in!" Apparently, like I'm gonna shoot. She climbs in, and he just steps out, looks, shoots, steps back behind cover, and it's just like, okay. And it sucks for her in the sense that the police were just coming up the stairs at the time, and they were gonna like push the protesters back, but whatever. Like people tried to stop her from going through, but she just climbed through anyways.
This thing's just fucking. I don't know if tragic is the right word, but damn.
It's just people don't realize they're like, oh, it's the police. They're not going to shoot me. It's like, no, that's the Secret Service. And if he thinks like, I think the vice president was still in the area and stuff like that, he's going to just basically be like, okay, well, threat, bang, okay. He doesn't know what's going to happen. Next thing he knows, they all just flood through. And then what is he going to do? Nothing.
Yeah. Whole thing is fucked. And then wasn't there's also one of the local authority members or whatever died, didn't they?
No, it was all protesters. So one dude had like a heart attack. One dude fell trying to climb the wall or whatever.
Oh, that's scaffolding.
Chick was shot, and then some other chick was like crushed in the crowd. I guess they were all just pushing in, and she got like crushed.
Yee.
Whatever. What I find funny is in 2016 when Trump won, and there's a lot of people upset about that. No one called fraud or anything like that. Or I'm sure there were some people that did, but no one was like, let's storm the Capitol and prevent that from happening. Right?
Mhm.
So the fact that these people do it, it's just kind of like without any substantiation other than your guy didn't win. It's like that does not make sense. Does not
Well,
make
Eric, it's even more hilarious when you think about it because these a lot of these people are the same guys who post on Reddit saying things like, when they see when Trump lost initially in the election, they were saying like, oh, like you don't see us like rioting and protesting in the streets like those BLM guys, right? They're like,
no, I know. They're all hypocrites.
it's like okay.
The other thing too is rioting in the streets is different from storming your government buildings and trying to like prevent the electoral process.
Yeah, there's just
So like one rioting in the streets, sure, like that's violence and stuff like that, but that's not terrorism. Terrorism is what these people did. That's the irony. So I'm kind of glad that Biden called them terrorists because that's what they are. It's kind of like with that one dude that drove to Joe's house and like crashed through the gate with his truck with guns in his car, and he's like, "I just wanted to talk to him." It's like, you're a fucking terrorist.
Yeah. Didn't one of the guys that was breaking into the Capitol building, didn't he have like a bunch of Molotovs and shit like that?
They found pipe bombs and stuff. So it's like even without weapons, like you don't need a weapon to be like a terrorist either.
Yeah.
Terrorism's just like trying to like get your political, like, I guess, will through violence.
It's all kinds of fucked up, man.
Yeah, here we go. Terrorism. The unlawful use of violence and or an intimidation, especially against civilians, in the pursuit of political aims. So like you don't even need like weapons or anything. It could just be like, hey, I'm gonna kill the vice president, and then you're actually advancing on his position or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's one thing to say something, it's a different thing when you're actually going through the actions. Like all these people that, and it's like it's not even like they just stormed the building while like no one was there. It's like they were literally doing the vote to like um certify the electoral college votes. So they're actually doing the political process, and these people went in there to try to prevent it.
Yeah,
right?
it's all according to the book, and then they're like, no, we don't want that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Like I said, if these people were all from Saudi Arabia, 100% everybody would be like they're terrorists, but there's still people that are, no, they're just trying to protect freedom. And it's like, okay.
There's that one guy I was on TV who kept saying like, oh, no one's fighting for us. It's like we gotta do it ourselves and whatever. It's like they're trying to silence us or some shit.
So
It's like, okay.
so I can relate to that position in the sense of maybe you do feel like you're not represented by your government anymore. So maybe, but that's unfortunately the reality of government, right? Like you might have a party representing you that you don't agree with, right? But when the vast majority of people vote that party, and unfortunately that's the world you live in, so now you got to ask yourself, well, what do I do? Do I not be part of the United States anymore? Like, do I move to another country that fits my political views? Right? You know what I mean?
Hmm. Some of those people actually were like saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna move to a different country," et cetera, et cetera.
So I mean, yeah, that's just the reality that when the shift of the country, like people believe different things, right? Maybe you don't identify with that anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the sad thing, but that doesn't mean that you storm the Capitol and basically be like, oh, like, well, I will have my way. It's like, dude, you're such a small percentage of the population overall, and that's the thing about these extremists. They represent such a small portion. What makes them dangerous, though, is they're actually willing to act. Whereas everybody else, like Travis, for instance, like I'm not saying Travis is like fault or anything, but where he's like, oh, I don't really care. I'd rather just like not do anything about it. But it's like that's the problem. Like, so these people are willing to do shit, and other people aren't willing to stand up for it. So like, it's important that we call those kinds of people out. Like even the PogChamp guy, I get it. It sounds stupid. It's like, oh well, why are we punishing him for like shit? But it's like that's what you got to do. You got to hold people accountable and basically be like, no. We're not gonna like reward people for like under the guise of basically being like, oh, like it's my right to freedom. It's like, yeah, you have the freedom of speech. That doesn't mean that you don't have like, you know, repercussions for that.
Yeah. You can't just expect to do or say whatever you want without expecting, you know, consequences for your actions.
And that's the thing. Like, did the PogChampion guy say anything wrong? I think he could have worded it differently. He could be like, it's sad that that one lady died, and I hope that there's an investigation to find out, rather than be like, are we not gonna, and calling her a martyr, and basically like, are we not gonna have justice for her, like, or whatever, like, you know what I mean? Like, the way he worded it was definitely, like, very insightful.
Yeah. It's like he wanted to rile people up.
Well, the funny thing that I found, Karen, too, I'm sure Trump could have actually won the election had he not botched this whole COVID response. Had COVID not happened, he would have definitely won. Had he not botched the COVID response in the first place, he would have won still, right?
Yeah, definitely. I also agree with that.
It's he was so focused on like not like, you know, oh, COVID, we can't shut down. We gotta like. Had he focused on just helping the American people in general and then doing everything he could, he probably would have got voted in again. It's like that's the irony of it all.
It's ironic that he didn't even see that.
Well, whoever his advisors are, well, maybe they tried to look and see it that way. It didn't work out.
Could be, but there was like, there was I don't know if it was reports or how substantiated they were, but they were saying like, Kushner was advising him otherwise, right?
Yeah, but oh, saying what? Telling
Like
him that
it could be better for them to downplay it.
But you see, it's like what I was telling Karen too. Like, you know who the leaders are when there's actually a crisis, and you see how like people react. And then like the true leaders come out, and the other people are like, okay, you're a very ineffective leader. Because it's easy to lead when there's like nothing going on, right? But as soon as there's like a crisis, like you can tell who's a good leader and who's not, right?
Yeah. It's like their test.
Here's the thing, I don't know why they would think it'd be a good idea to downplay. Like, it really does not make logical sense to me.
I can kind of see it because during the first wave of COVID, it was affecting like Democratic states more than Republican states. So I can kind of see the logic, but it's like you have to realize it's gonna hit everyone at some point.
The stupid thing is where it's like, oh, it's affecting Democratic states, not Republican states, so it's okay. It's like, but you represent the people as president. Yes, you might have a certain like lean. You might be like, oh, I have Republican values, but also that's your country, right? Those Democrat states, when you like go declare a war somewhere or whatever, they're gonna go to war too, right? And it's like you're one people in the end. So this us versus them shit. It's like I think the problem with Trump's administration is one, he wasn't a career politician, which is like fine, you know, you can have good leaders that aren't career politicians, but he put people in posts based on like their loyalty to him and how like you know, how much he liked them versus how competent they were. So Kushner, or whatever the fuck his name is, like, was he competent to be in that position? Probably not, right?
I'd actually even say, yeah, not to be in his position, but out of the people he picked, he was probably one of the more competent ones.
Ooh, that guy?
Well, I mean, I'm not saying he was fit for his position, right? But he's elected people far less qualified for their positions.
Yeah, but even then, like, this guy, like, it's like his daughter's husband.
Yeah, I know. Well, nepotism. I'm not saying it's not, right?
I'm gonna be honest. If I was president, then who knows actually if I was, but I would definitely not pick any family members to be part of my administration. For one, like,
What about close friends?
probably not, just because unless that person was really good at what they did, and like insanely good. Other than that, I think it's just a conflict of interest to like do that for one.
Oh, it like 100% is, yeah, for sure.
Like, and again, for my COVID response team, I wouldn't pick a dude who's described as an American investor, real estate developer, newspaper publisher. It's like, that's Jared Kushner, right? So it's like, what are his credentials, right? Nothing, right?
Yeah.
Like, he wouldn't be my COVID advisor. Like, if he was a really good leader, I might be like, okay, you're going to lead the team, but you're going to gather the team based on experts in their field related to COVID or COVID response related stuff. You'll just be the leader that, like, wrangles them together to make sure that they're staying on track. You're not going to be my advisor telling me what to do, right?
But, like, all the people who could have been qualified for this position said things that he didn't agree with.
Well, that's the thing. Like, so that's why I think Trump is an ineffectual leader, because if he doesn't agree with what they said, they're wrong. But it's like, no, a leader listens to experts, right? Within reason. Obviously, someone's experts. But, you know what I mean? If you gather, let's say, like, 5 of the top scientists, like, related to COVID stuff, and they all tell you the same thing, they probably know what they're talking about, right? And being a leader, sometimes you gotta accept things that maybe you don't agree with, but are correct, right? You know what I mean? No, whatever. What do I know?
More than some of the Americans.
Well, the thing that upsets me is not so much like... I think it's just the lack of critical thinking, the lack of providing proper evidence. Because, like, it's that circular argument that's not caring. So, let's say with that person that's like, oh, Trump for president or whatever. I'd be like, well, why do you believe the thing that you do, right? And they'd be like, well, it's like, why do you think the election's rigged? And they'd be like, well, like, there's all this, like, evidence of the rigging thing. I'm like, okay, well, where are you getting this evidence from? They'd name sources. I'd be like, well, those aren't really, like, if you're getting it from InfoWars, I'd be like, that's not really a legitimate source. But then they would just argue, well, the mainstream media is bought off. I was like, okay. You know what I mean? It's just a circular argument where, like, you won't really be able to prove anything to them, right?
Yeah. Like, there
it's
are
like
always...
those, it's like I said, the logic that I would use is basically, so when Trump won, there's a lot of people on the left that were upset, but no one claimed fraud or anything like that. So it's like, so that's okay. But when your guy loses, something it's fraud. It's also, it's interesting what people actually said. Like, if it was a Black Lives Matter protest and they smashed through the Capitol and everything like that, you guarantee you there would have been a heavy-handed response.
That's something that's kind of like, you know, I mean, a lot of people are talking about it, but it's kind of disturbing. It's like
Please drop the ball.
yeah. Well, big time.
Yeah. And then,
just...
like, I don't know what's going on with those police that let them in, if they were actually police or faking being police or something like that, but...
I heard some people saying that they were like, oh, the reason they let them in was because they knew that they couldn't do much with their numbers that they had at the time, right?
Yeah, but I wouldn't let them in. I would just be like, okay, we're keeping these barriers here, and then if those people want to smash through the barriers, then I'd probably step aside at that point because your life is on the line, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, I don't know if I really buy that excuse.
So I wouldn't let people in and then take selfies with them and shit. You know who you needed there? Judge Dredd.
Dish out some judgments.
Justice?
Yeah.
Insurrection death.
Well, I'm glad some people are actually calling it insurrection on the spot.
I mean, I don't know if it's insurrection, it's definitely terrorism. I would say maybe insurrection for any of the people, like the political leaders that were calling for like praising this shit. That's definitely maybe insurrection. Because they're actually in a leadership position. A lot of these people are just protesters that like, you know, well, I shouldn't say protesters, they're terrorists for what they wanted to do, right? I don't know if that's insurrection in the sense of, what would insurrection be? I guess it could be called insurrection, a violent uprising against an authority or government. Just the reason why I don't think this is insurrection in the sense of these people from all across the states, they don't really represent one state. You know what I mean? So if like that's why I'm saying like any of the political leaders that called for like, oh yeah, this is great, let's keep it up. I would say that is because they're actually in positions representing their state, calling for this to happen. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I would say insurrection for the president, sure, calling for supporters, right? I think it depends on the group. Like, so any of those choose your fighter people, I'd say that they're terrorists.
I would probably also think that.
But you know, some of these people too might not actually be there. Like, you know what I mean? They might be there just to cause chaos and shit. They had no intention of actually like preventing the vote. People
You mean
people
like
do
little anarchists?
stupid shit. But what I mean, yeah, political anarchists, or maybe people that just don't think the consequences just did shit. Are they actually terrorists? Depends on, because terrorism depends on your intention too, right?
Yeah.
I think it. Yeah, I think that's why. That's why, for instance, that guy in Ottawa, I would say he's a terrorist, but honestly, it really depends on his intentions. But I would say his intentions seem kind of clear when he's like smashing through gates, has guns in his truck, and wants to talk to the prime minister and posts like political shit on his like social media, right? That would, to me, paint a very clear intention. If he just like drove there, smashed through the gates, right, and had like nothing in his car, nothing, he's just like, oh, I just want to do that, maybe a bit different, right? I don't know, everything's very black and white. Or gray, sorry.
Well, you need like the thing about the guns in the car and stuff. That kind of paints. That kind of gives context to it, right? So it's like.
Yeah, exactly.
To be honest, I kind of expected something like this to happen. I just wasn't expecting it to happen like on that day. I thought it was gonna be like on inauguration day or something.
Apparently they have more shit coming, so.
Oh goody.
Well, there is a Capitol Police officer that died.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I heard someone on the police force died.
Yeah,
how
one
did
of
he
5
die,
people that died. Just says that he was injured while physically engaging the rioters and collapsed after returning to his division office, where he succumbed from his injuries. I don't know if someone hit him or something. Maybe he had some blunt force trauma. Who knows?
Wait, sorry, what happened?
It just says that he, what's it called, was injured while physically engaging with the riders and collapsed after returning to his division office. Same thing with the lady that died that got shot. Apparently, like people were saying that she was like a false flag and she wasn't actually part of the movement and everything like that. And it's just like, okay, well, I guess she died for nothing. Alright, so you're gonna go to bed. This one.
Alright,
Huh? What? What was that?
he said he's going to bed.
Oh. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
What are you doing,
I'm just watching some crap stuff.
man? What a guy.
What to do? What to do? Looks like Brown's playing tabletop.
Guess he ain't coming on till later tonight, if at all.
Looks like it'll be a late Tarkov night.
Fine.
He's gonna come on at midnight, and then we're gonna play till like 1 in the morning.
Ryan? I don't know about you, but I'm still gonna try and sleep at I don't want to stay up past 3 or 3:30. Like you can keep playing if you want,
Meow.
but if you guys are playing late, you still want to do like some kind of mash time?
Probably not.
Wow, I get all to do myself then.
Bitch. Bitch.
If you do mash time, then go back to play, and you play till 5. You know? I just want to end up doing mash time and then like falling asleep on the couch.
Oh, what's gonna happen? Whack. Whack.
Alrighty.
I believe so. What?
But. It's already 10:30. Yeah. Ever since thing ended, ever since our holiday ended, feels like these evenings passed by so quickly. I was watching. I was in the channel with Travis when they were playing Farming Simulator earlier. Then we went down to eat dinner, and by the time I came back, he and Tanner already logged off. It wasn't even 7. It was like 7 o'clock.
Wow.
It's like, wow, why you guys say that it is like that?
Wow.
Wow. Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh man, it's the weekend, Ryan. game is literally forcing me to finish certain levels in the game in order to beat it. I don't know if I'm gonna do that. A lot of these levels, I just hate them.
Put on search.
Okay. Hang on, Mom. If you go, I might join you.
Might as well do it now before we start.
What are you gonna do? Just sit and watch TV, or he's gonna watch something?
So when we get down there.
Okay.